Well, hello everybody. I've been working on some cowl lacing, and I know when I started to research of how it went and how it was installed and all that stuff, a little bit hard to find, but I mean I found it. Ford Barn had some stuff. But anyway, I just thought I'd do kind of a quick video of how I did it. Now in the 2829, the lacing, there's two different lacings. This is a little bit thinner and then this is a little bit thicker. So the thinner stuff goes along the sides, and the rivets, the head is on the back, the inside here, and then the way you buck the tails is they're split rivets, so one spreads down and one spreads up, and that's how Ford did it. And it makes sense because this little split part kind of holds the lacing to the cowl a little bit. But anyway, I thought I'd show you how I did it without buying an expensive tool. Well, I've already done the side lacings, and I also did one side of the tank lacing. But on the 2829, originally this top tank lacing, it had a wire running through it, and then the wire would go to some holes at the end, loop through there, and then there was a small J hook right here and a nut, and they would tie it on with the holes on the end, with the wire at the holes on the end, and then they would tighten it up with this little J hook and pull that wire down so everything was snug. Well, I bought some aftermarket stuff. It didn't have a wire and I couldn't put a wire in there, so I thought I'd do it the same way as I did on the sides. So what I did is I went ahead and took a divider, measured out equally six more holes actually, because I used the last one, the end hole. And then I drilled them for the size of my split rivets, and that's how I'm going to install it, is just the exact same way as on the sides, and it's going to work good. I've already done this side like I said, and it came out nice, so I'm going to continue on with this side. So I have the lacing just clamped on there. I have it even with the edge of the gas tank, and the end of it is where I want it. Right where the little dip is where I ended the edge. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a little scribe and poke through where I drilled my hole. And then take an awl, go all the way through. There we go. Here's my little split rivet. There you go. You can see how it's split like that. So I'm going to put that in with the head underneath. Okay. And then from my lettering and punch kit, I got this little steel bar. I'm going to clamp this underneath, which basically acts like a bucking bar. Keeps that head of that split rivet nice and tight up against the sheet metal. Okay. So I'm going to take my screwdriver, put it in the split rivet, and just turn it until it's aligned this way. Bend over one side. Push the other side over a little bit. Take my little channel lock pliers here. Grab it. And when I'm squeezing, I'm kind of turning to bend that over. And that gets them bent down. And I'll take this off, give it one more little squeeze, and that tightens that rivet to the lacing right up. And that's it. Pretty easy, pretty quick. Just keep going down, and it saves buying like a tool that you might use once, you know. Alright guys, well it's time to tackle the fuel system. But before I do that I need to seal up my firewall I made. So I went down and I bought this fire barrier sealant. It's good for 25 minutes for construction fire. And I'm going to seal that little gap right there between my firewall. Seal everywhere I can, so hopefully that will stop any flames or fire coming into the cockpit, since I'm mounting my fuel tank in the trunk here. Alright, got it all sealed up. That sealant, you can get it in a red color, so that's what I got to kind of match the primer and stuff. So all sealed up. Now moving on to reinstalling the tank. If you watched my previous videos, I'm using Model T reproduction tank. Got the sending unit, and I'm using a rollover valve. And then I bought this little attachment that screws into the top of the tank where normally the cap goes, so that I can hook a hose to it. And what I did is I went down to the truck junkyard, scrapyard, and I looked around all the trucks and stuff, and I found that, like the older Toyota, I'm not sure the year it was, probably someone early 80s Toyota truck, and I got a filler neck. It's vented, so I'm going to run the small hose to my rollover vent, and then the bigger hose will go to the connector on my tank. I got it with this rubber fuel hose and clamps and everything off the truck, and this is like the perfect curve to go from what I thought I would do is at the center, in the back, I would mount the fuel cap or the fuel filler neck. I thought of a few different positions, over here and over here, but I found that if I spin my tank around that I originally put in there, originally I had that filler on the left hand, like the driver's side, but if I spin it around and with that hose it fits like almost perfect, and I like the way it looks symmetrical in the middle. And then you could also fill up from both sides of the gas pump, so it doesn't matter what side of the gas pump you pull up to. So I decided to go there. And also what I did was this filler neck here. It came from a Toyota, so it's metric stuff or smaller or whatever. And previously I had found a cool little old gas cap that I like, and it was a little bit too big in this area here. So what I did is I just trimmed this area here, got it to fit, and then it was still a little bit loose up and down. So I took the seal off the Toyota cap and put it on here, so now it's two seals, and it spins, tightens up really nice. And yes, this is a vented gas cap. I checked it. I put air right here in the middle, and it was blowing out of the sides right here. So that's good. So I got that cap to fit, which I think is kind of cool because I want to use it. I don't know what it's from. I just bought it at a swap meet one time. So anyway, originally what I did is I started looking up at like tank filler nets, fillernex.com or something like that, and I started pricing all this stuff out. It was going to be like $150 for a filler neck, hose, vent hose, 4 nice clamps, gas cap, all that stuff. And you know what? I got this at the junkyard for $10 and it's going to work perfect. So that's what I did, and that's what I'm going to be doing. So hang on and follow along. Alright, got the tank reinstalled, bolts all tightened on the straps, and ready to start working on the filler neck. Alright, so while fitting my filler neck, I didn't quite like how this was so high with the gas caps on there. There's a little bit of a gap there. So what I did to lower that, I made a little plastic filler piece out of a cutting board, and then that'll go on there, and that'll lower that filler neck down to where when the gas cap's on it, it'll look a lot closer and a lot flusher. And I also made a little paper gasket that will go between my filler neck plastic and the sheet metal underneath. And then I'll take some red sealant and seal around the outside. Alright, so here's the Toyota filler neck, the Toyota stock hose, and the Toyota stock vent hose. And it all fit in there pretty damn good. It's almost perfect. There's a slight little angle here, but it's nothing to be concerned of. So that was a pretty good score. And I know, Toyota on an old Ford, but it's a hose. Come on. But yeah, that came out good. And on the top side, there's the gas cap and everything installed. Looks pretty good. I like it. Kind of cool. Alright, here's the 5/16 steel fuel line that I'm running from that I've been up, and I'm running from the discharge of the fuel pump up to the firewall, where it's gonna connect to the fuel block there with this short piece of hose and a couple of clamps. Alright, I'm under the car here. Thought I'd show you what I have coming out of the tank. Brass tube, elbow, a petcock, and a little a nipple. Then I'm running a soft hose, 5/16 soft hose with clamps over my frame, which it's got an Adel clamp over the frame, going to, sorry, let me try to get you, can see it. Okay, there we go. This is the electric fuel pump, K&N. I think it's 1 to 2 psi. You have to have a low psi for the Strombergs. But anyway, it's got a filter coming in, then the pump, then a barbed nipple hooked to a short piece of hose to that metal 5/16 steel hose that I bent up. And then that goes all the way forward. Can't see, it's kind of dark. Okay, and then the hard line comes out, up and around. And then I'll mount my fuel block. Oops, wrong way. Mount my fuel block here with the short piece of tube going to that. And then I'll have 2 hoses going to the dual carbs. I want to wait to mount this till I get the engine back in, so I get the proper height, so the hoses look good and everything. And that's the fuel supply system.
Thanks for watching.